Hey World of Tanks players, it's me, MVP Hachiman, just call me Hachi or Hachiman. Bringing you a different kind of video today. I've been exceptionally frustrated with World of Tanks the last number of months, and that frustration is growing more and more and more and more and more. And I just decided it was time to sit down and do a little video about why World of Tanks is actually broken. Now let's start with the beginning. Let's talk about the fact of who I am. So you understand I'm not just some Yahoo. Those of you who know me know who I am, but I have played almost 24,000 games of World of Tanks over the last 4 years. And my win rate is 51.71%, which is well above average. My kill-death ratio is 1.21, which is also well above average, and my WN8 is 1528, which is double the North American server average. I am not the best player of World of Tanks out there, not by a long shot, but I'm good. I'm very good, and I have an impact on my games. Hey World of Tanks players, it's me, MVP Hachiman, just call me Hachi or Hachiman. And let's further break down those stats and look at my different tank classes. Heavy tanks, 7,611 games with a 1566 WN8, 52% win rate. Medium tanks, 7,937 games with 1705 WN8, my best, and a 52.5% win rate. Light tanks, 2,200 games, 1107 WN8, by far my weakest class, with 49.87% win rate. Tank destroyers, 4,218 games, 1398 WN8. I don't really like TDs that much, but almost 51% win rate. And SPGs, 1866 with a 1365 WN8 and a 50.11% win rate. It's safe to say that I understand the game, the tanks in the game, and how they're supposed to be used and what they do. Whether or not I'm any good at it is a different thing. I'm not saying my skill level is up there, but I have a full and complete understanding of the game and how it is absolutely supposed to work. So I have a number of script files and programs that collect data while I play, and these are some of the things I found out. In my last 1,000 games, 723 of them were won by a team that had a kill margin of 10 or more. These are your 15 to 5, 15 to 4, 15 to 3, so on and so forth, won games, which shows that 72% of the games played are completely and totally one-sided. 37 of the last 1,000 games were won by capping, not even 5%. 23 were won by teams capping while down on kills, which shows that capping is a valid way to win, and there were only 3 draws, 0.3%, not even a full 0.5%. As concerning as that should be, let's drill down a little further. My last 50 games in the E100, I was hit 457 times. I had 182 penetrations, excluding artillery strikes, and 153 penetrations by gold ammunition. So right there, over 80% of the hits I took that went through were from gold ammo. Of the last 457 hits I received, meaning all my hits I took in the last 50 games, 399 of them, 88%, were gold ammo. 44 of the first hits I received, out of the last 50 games, 44 of them, the first hit I received was from gold ammunition. And if that's not concerning, I don't know what is. Now, in my Type 4, the last 50 games, over 1,000 hits received, only 12% of the damage received by artillery, 88% of the damage then received by anti-tank fire, and 71% of all damage I took was from someone firing gold ammunition. The premium ammo that you used to have to pay gold for, why it's called gold ammo, but now you can buy with credits. So that's really concerning to me. And to talk about that whole arty situation for a second, only 12% of damage received by artillery. That brings me to the next slide. There's a lot of negativity in the community about artillery, and everyone says it's broken and that type of thing. So this slide's about the truth about artillery. Out of my last 100 games in the 3 arties I own, the M44 Tier 6, the M4043 Tier 8, and the M5355 Tier 9, arguably the best arty in the game, I fired 492 shots in 100 games. That's not even 5 shots a game. And the M44 reloads pretty quickly at 18 seconds. 492 shots fired. Only 123 were near misses. That was close. Okay, just over 20%. I had 87 direct hits, less than 20%. Okay, which means that roughly 60% of the shots I fire do absolutely nothing. But here's even a bigger one. 83 shells, almost 20% of the shells fired completely missed the aim circle. In other words, this idea that arty is ultra accurate and is completely unfair is disproven by these numbers, especially when you see that last line. Number of enemies one-shotted. This is truly killed with one shell. 4 in 100 games. 4. Alright, and let's talk about the next issue, the arms race. See that little picture in the upper right hand corner? That's JFK and I believe Khrushchev. They're racing, carrying a bunch of weapons. And here you see pictures of the newest and latest tanks, the T-26E5 Patriot, the Rheinmetall Scorpion, the brand new Object 252, and then you see some old faces, the Mouse and the T-95. Wargaming is continuously coming out with new premium tanks that outperform many of the other tanks in the game. They're even coming out with non-premium tanks that outperform many of the tanks that have been in the game. And in order to rebalance those other tanks, they have to buff them, like the Mouse, increased armor, the T-95, increased speed. So it's like they're constantly pushing to this next level. I played in my AMX 50B this morning, and I unloaded a full clip into the lower plate of an Object 252 and did not pen a single shot. Not one. And I can't think of a situation where a Tier 10 heavy tank shouldn't be able to pen a Tier 8 heavy tank with 258mm of pen. But neither here nor there, we have this arm race of new machines constantly being put out by Wargaming, and you feel in order to be competitive you have to spend your own money in order to continue matching up against these enemy tanks, which brings to the next issue. Wargaming knows that heavily armored tanks are less and less relevant because of all the gold ammo. I showed you the stats on the Type 4 and the Type 5 Heavy earlier. And they are now working on a new sandbox server, and they're working on new armor mechanics. The goal is to make armor relevant again. However, in a day where I can buy premium ammunition with credits, and I can fire premium ammunition almost exclusively with many of my premium tanks and still make money, why is armor going to be relevant? All you're going to do is create a situation where players are firing even more premium ammunition. And because arty is so overpowered and so completely ridiculous, they're now creating new arty mechanics on the sandbox server. Goal to make artillery relevant to the game, more incorporated into team play. Solution, change the damage mechanics. The tanks will fire more often, they will be more accurate, but they will do less damage. But they will now stun their enemies when they hit them. So wait a minute. Now you're going to fire more, you're going to stun me. Once I'm stunned, the enemy team will absolutely annihilate me. And then what about machines like the auto-loading Bat Chat artillery? What about the FV304 and the M44 with their 14 to 18 second reload times? And holy crap, what about the Tier 5 French arty that has that 10 second, less than 10 second reload time? Certain artilleries are now going to be OP, even more so, by perma-stunning the enemy into submission. So let's talk about tank class irrelevance. This game has tank classes. Each class is supposed to do a particular job, but not anymore. It doesn't matter anymore. Why does it matter anymore? Well, because medium tanks are obsolete, because there are more fast heavies than there have ever been. It used to be an FCM 50T and AMX 5100, that was about it. Well, now you've got the T-26E5 Patriot, which can play like a medium tank when it needs to. You've got the new Object 252 is very quick. You've got all these heavy tanks that can play as backup mediums, but then they still have heavy tank armor. And being a heavy tank doesn't matter anymore because everyone spams gold. Just constantly. You know, many times the first round they load is gold. You also have more firepower than ever before. All the new tanks have new outrageous penetration characteristics, which means you have to buff older tanks in order to let them fit in, but all that does is add to this complexity and chaos in the mix of the tank classes. It makes them all just not fit and work together anymore. And then the next thing you've got Tier 10 light tanks coming, which is going to make Tier 10 mediums obsolete because they have the guns of Tier 9 mediums, which are almost as good as the guns of Tier 10 mediums. They're substantially faster than the Tier 10 medium tanks, and their armor doesn't matter because armor is already irrelevant. And let's not even forget about the major reason I started playing this game was I found it a wonderful strategy game. There was so much thinking that was involved, so much strategy on the personal and team level that went into it, and that's all gone. Now that classes are irrelevant, the modern world of tank strategy is ignore one entire flank. It used to be you had to support both flanks and the middle of the map. You don't anymore. Ignore at least one flank, if not the one flank and the middle. Zerg rush the other side of the map with as many tanks as you can, as quickly as you can, fire as much premium ammo as necessary to get the job done, and wipe out your enemy in record time, and you win the game. Period. And that's why all these games are 15 to 5, 15 to 4. That's why we have these overwhelming statistics showing that the game is grossly one-sided, match after match after match. You can't carry a team anymore. Less than 1% of the time I would say can you actually legitimately carry a team, because there's no team play anymore. It's just one hard push in one place, wipe out the enemy with as much money as you possibly can, as quickly as you can, and move on to the next spot. So what's the conclusion of all this? Well, the conclusion is a game that I have dearly loved for years and really spent a lot of time playing and introduced a number of people to who have spent a lot of money, like I have. I suddenly realized the conclusion is to stop giving wargaming money. You don't pay for a product that you don't like, and a video game is no different. And that's kind of where I'm at. I've invested thousands of dollars into this game over the last 4 years, money that surely could have been spent doing something else, though entertainment is value. But at this point, I don't see any need to continue paying them any money whatsoever. I'm not even sure that I really even enjoy the game anymore. It's really a sad thing, but I'd like to see your comments below. Let me know what you guys think. But I've spent a lot of time, putting this together and analyzing this, and I think I'm pretty much right on target. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. We will see you next time.